In a strong tradition, I shall begin my speech with a joke. What's red and bad for your teeth? A brick. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've done it. We've reached our commencement ceremony. So in the spirit of the day, I say, hello, my fellow Spartans. It is truly an honor to be standing before you today. This really is one of the major milestones of our lives. 13 years of education, 4 years at Boardman High School, they finally come to an end. Our days as high school students are behind us. Many of us like to say on these days that it's not an end, but a beginning. But that's not entirely true. This is, in many ways, an ending. We will never again be together as a class, and we will move on with our lives, and it will become abundantly clear that our days as Boardman students are behind us. Though we will carry with us the memories and the friendships we've forged, which will transcend our time here at Boardman High School. For those of you that know me, which is many of you, you're aware that I'm rarely at a loss for words. Though in the process of writing this speech, I came across a few difficulties. There's always something arrogant in speaking to your peers, to assume that you have something worth telling your equals. I found it challenging to find something I could say without sounding pompous, and I found it even more difficult to develop something that would bridge sentimentality and be something worth hearing, something which you would carry with you as you leave Boardman High School. Time will be the judge of whether or not anything I say here will have any relevance to your lives, though I hope it will. And I hope you learn as much from me giving this speech as I learned in the process of writing it. In the past, these commencement addresses have usually been about what we've accomplished, certain memories that we've chosen to hold dear. I've chosen to depart from this pattern because we have lived only a small piece of our lives, and there's so much more to come. All AP students at Boardman High School have seen a movie which, for whatever reason, stood out in my mind as I tried to come up with what I would say to you today. For those of you that have not seen the classic film Dead Poets Society, the premise is that these boys confined to an intellectually restrictive boarding school take up the advice of their unconventional English teacher and seek out some adventure and joy in their otherwise drab, ordinary lives. That fictional English teacher, Mr. Keating, has provided me with the focus of my address today. He told his students, "Carpe diem." Seize the day, boys. Make your lives extraordinary. As I mulled over the topics I could speak today, I found no sentiment more appropriate for a graduation. You'll leave here today, maybe spend time with family, maybe go out and have fun with your friends, but tomorrow morning you will wake up and you'll have to look yourself in the mirror and ask, what am I going to do with the rest of my life? What do I want to do? Who do I want to be? To help you answer these questions, I've divided my speech into 3 parts today. To begin, my first piece of advice is, do not be afraid. Don't be afraid of others, don't be afraid of failure, and don't be afraid of life. We're young, and most of our lives are still ahead of us. The great part about this age is no one will really expect us to know what we're doing for a few years now. So take advantage of it. Find what path in life you want to take, but most importantly, don't be afraid to take the path that will make you happy. The oldest person to ever attend and graduate from a high school proper in the United States was a woman by the name of Margaret Beckema. Beckema dropped out of school at age 14 to help her mother raise her 12 younger siblings. She married a man many years her senior, had 19 children, 94 grandchildren, and countless great and great-great-grandchildren. At the age of 94, she expressed to her son that her biggest regret in life was not graduating from high school. Her son responded very simply, "Mom, you're not dead yet. With the permission of the local school board, Beckema began to attend classes with other students where she became a beloved fixture of her school. 3 years later, that graduating class chose Beckema, then 97 years old, to deliver their commencement address. She took the stage, looked at her classmates, and said simply, "If you don't want to get old and wrinkled, die young." I tell you this story to make you think. The fear of aging is not caused by the fear of the result of aging. The fear of aging is caused by missed opportunities, unfulfilled potential, speeding through life without knowing your purpose. Don't be afraid to get knocked down, because you can always get back up, but do be afraid of normality. There will be many people that will try to curb your dreams, to tell you that another path in life is more practical, will make you more money, or will be a safer way to proceed. It may not be what you know in your heart of hearts that you want, but you may be tempted to sacrifice your dreams for security. Don't ever do it. Many of you know the poem I'm about to read, but I'm going to read it anyways. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and knowing I could not travel both and be one traveler long, I stood and stared down one as far I could, until it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear, though as for that the passing there had worn them really about the same. And both that morning equally way, with leaves no steps had trodden black. Oh, how I marked the first for another day, though knowing how way leads to way, I doubted I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh, and ages hence. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and I took the one less traveled by. And that has made all the difference. You might fail at what you don't like in life, so you might as well take the risk and do what you love. Don't be afraid of the journey. You will get knocked down, but if you are following what you love, you'll never lay down your head and wonder if your life is passing you by. Don't be afraid to take the road less traveled, and don't be afraid to seize the day. My second point today is, when it comes to life, make the most of it. It goes back to that old question, what are you going to do with the rest of your life? I admit that I've chosen to see the possibilities, that I've chosen to be an optimist in spite of the obstacles we face. That's why I encourage you to make the most out of every day, to seize it. Steve Jobs, the founder of Apple, illustrated in his commencement address to Stanford University how he ascertained every day whether or not he was making the most of his life. Jobs said that every day when he woke up to get ready, he looked himself in the mirror and said, if I was going to die today, would I want to do what I'm about to do? And obviously every day is not going to be perfect, but Jobs knew that if the answer to the question was no too many days in a row, something had to change. Just as you only receive one high school experience, you only receive one life. The Roman philosopher Seneca was correct. One never does see the same river twice. Opportunities, once gone, don't return. So I encourage you to seize every opportunity that comes in your path. Travel to new places, meet new people, confront new ideas. Yogi Berra made the best observation about what to do when presented with opportunities. He said, when you come to a fork in the road, take it. Never let yourself be talked away from the opportunity to grow, to be educated, because you might not have another one. The poet John Sled said it best, the ship in the harbor is safe, but that's not what a ship is made for. So take every door that opens and seize the day. John Wesley, the itinerant preacher and fellow of Lincoln College at Oxford, was once asked how the ornate cathedrals of England were empty, yet when he spoke in the fields to the workers, thousands came to listen. Wesley responded thus, I lit myself on fire. I lit myself on fire with enthusiasm, and they came for miles to watch me burn. Our time as high school students has been reduced to just about a minute now. From now on, you won't be told what classes to attend. Your life won't be dictated by a bell. Your interests won't be constrained by the limits of the classes offered. You won't be told when to cover your shoulders. It will be incumbent on you to find a fire that lights your heart, that inspires you to make the most of your talents, whatever they may be. There will always be people in the world that will try to weaken your fire, lessen your glow. Your talents will be a threat to them because they don't understand the passion that drives you. Never stand by when people censor your dreams or your talents because it's an injustice. My final injunction today, to light yourself on fire with enthusiasm, is intimately connected to the other things that I've told you. If you're not on fire with enthusiasm, you watch the days of your life slip away. If you're not on fire with enthusiasm, you'll succumb to your fears. If you're not on fire with enthusiasm, you watch those opportunities fade before your eyes. Enthusiasm and genuine passion for life is what makes the difference between good and great, between an expert and a master, between a content person and one that's truly happy with life. Unless you light yourself on fire with enthusiasm, you'll never seize the day. St. Ignatius of Loyola, the founder of the Jesuit order, was once asked by his followers, "Can you outline our mission in life? Can you tell us what we have to do?" And he looked at them and said, "Go, light this world on fire." So my message to you today is, don't be afraid. Make the most of it. Fill yourselves with enthusiasm and seize each day, and the world around you will ignite in an inferno, which will carry you to places that you never dreamed were possible. If you think I'm crazy or unrealistic, remember what Steve Jobs said: the ones who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones that do. This is it. Our time at Boardman High School is finally over, and I'll close with this brief little poem by Shel Silverstein. Listen to the mustn'ts, child. Listen to the don'ts. Listen to the shouldn'ts, the impossibles, the won'ts. Listen to the never haves. Then listen closely to me. Anything can happen, child. Anything can be. And so for my final time as a student at Boardman High School, I say, go Spartans!